Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to travel back in time. No, not like a Marvel movie where timelines get messed up. This is the history of the Indian Constitution explained in a fun, simple and absolutely exam friendly way. Whether you are preparing for UPSC, SSC, state PCS or simply want to upgrade your English speaking skill, this one long session is going to help you understand the journey of how India wrote one of the longest and most respected constitutions in the world. So sit back, relax, maybe grab a cup of chai, and let's dive into this beautifully chaotic, historically dramatic, occasionally funny, and absolutely inspiring story of our constitution. The story of the Indian Constitution actually begins long before the Constitution was even drafted. And if you think this is going to be boring, don't worry. I promise we will make even the most serious historical events feel like a light-hearted conversations. So imagine India in the early 1900s when British rules were everywhere. Rules for tax, rules for salt, rules for breathing, practically everything except rules for how to make good samosas. People in India were frustrated. They wanted self rule, dignity, and freedom because obviously no country likes being controlled by someone sitting thousands of miles away, sipping tea, and deciding their future. Movements like the non cooperation movement, civil disobedience, and Quit India movement were all building pressure and gradually making the British realize that Indians were not going to listen silently forever. Meanwhile, Indians were also learning that governing a country is not like running a WhatsApp group. You actually need rules, structure, and a system that everyone respects. Slowly, demand for a constitution started rising. The idea was simple: when freedom comes, we need a proper rule book, not last minute jugaad. Then came 1946, the year when the Constituent Assembly was formed. Think of it as India's biggest brainstorming group, but with far more responsibility and far fewer memes. This assembly had 389 members at first, later 299 after partition, and these people were not random. They were lawyers, freedom fighters, scholars, and experts who could argue for hours without needing Google or ChatGPT. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was chosen as the chairman of the drafting committee, and trust me, this man literally breathed constitutional law. If the constitution was a blockbuster movie, Ambedkar was the director, script writer, and editor rolled into one. But drafting a constitution was not easy at all. Every topic, citizenship, fundamental rights, federalism, emergency powers, created debates longer than Indian weddings. One side wanted strong center, one side wanted strong states, one side wanted absolute equality, one side wanted some protections. It was like trying to get 300 people to agree on a pizza topping. Impossible, but somehow they managed. The assembly referred to constitutions of many countries like the US, UK, Ireland, Canada, Australia, and even borrowed ideas like fundamental rights, parliamentary system, directive principles, and emergency provisions. Some people jokingly call the Indian constitution the world's best remix, and honestly, it's true, but it's a respectful remix. India borrowed ideas but adapted everything to its own culture, diversity, and social needs. The debates went on for 2 years, 11 months, and 18 days, and that too without Google Docs or MS Word. Every correction was written manually, which makes you appreciate their patience. During these discussions, leaders like Nehru, Patel, Rajendra Prasad, Maulana Azad, and many others kept reminding everyone that India was not just a country but a colorful collection of languages, cultures, and histories, so its constitution had to embrace all of it. Finally, on 26th November 1949, the constitution was adopted but it actually came into force on 26th January 1950, a date chosen to honor the 1930 Purna Swaraj Declaration. From that day, India officially became a republic, meaning we chose our own leaders instead of having a king or queen boss us around. The constitution gave us fundamental rights like equality, freedom, fundamental rights like equality, freedom, protection against exploitation, freedom of religion, cultural rights, and the right to constitutional remedies. Basically, a guarantee that if anyone messes with your rights, you can go to court and say, "Excuse me, stop this nonsense." We were also given directive principles, which are like instructions to the government. Think of them like moral homework that the government should try to complete. The constitution also created independent bodies like the Election Commission, Comptroller and Auditor General, and judiciary to make sure power is not misused. It laid down how parliament works, how ministers are chosen, how states interact with the center, and how emergencies are handled. And just when you think this is all too serious, remember that our constitution has been amended over 100 times, proving that even the most perfect documents need updates, just like your smartphone. Over the years, the Constitution helped India remain united despite diversity that could easily confuse any outsider. It handled wars, emergencies, political conflicts, social changes, and economic reforms with remarkable stability. It protected democracy when things went wrong and guided the nation when things went right. Even today, when students prepare for competitive exams, the Constitution is like that one reliable friend who always has your back. Sometimes complicated, sometimes emotional, but always important. And if you think studying is boring, but maybe just remind yourself that behind every article, every clause, and every amendment, there is a story of struggle, sacrifice, and an epic amount of patience. The fact that hundreds of leaders sat together and agreed on a document that would guide the lives of millions for decades is nothing short of a miracle. And this miracle is the reason India is one of the largest democracies in the world. Messy sometimes, noisy all the time, but beautifully functioning in its own unique way. And that brings us to the end of this long, fun, exam friendly journey into the history of the Indian Constitution. I hope this storytelling style helped you learn something new, understand concepts better, and also improved your English listening skills. If you enjoyed this session, make sure to like, share, and comment below so I can bring more helpful content for your exams and spoken English practice. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and never stop asking questions. Thank you for listening, and I will meet you in the next session.